Rena Song grabbed Karen's hair from outside the window, trying to force her way into the classroom. Holding tightly, she yelled, "Open the door." The classmate near the door hesitated, frozen in shock. Karen, grimacing in pain, added, "It's okay, just open it and shut it quickly." In her mind, Karen thought, how has Rena not been bitten by the zombies? When the door still didn't open, Karen screamed, "Open it now." The intense pulling on her hair felt like her scalp was about to rip off. Finally, the door opened, and Rena rushed into the classroom, slamming it shut behind her. Karen noticed the blood splattered on Rena's arm. Did she fight the zombies with her bare fists? Karen wondered. Se-eun Ham approached Karen and mentioned something about the phone. Karen, distracted, muttered, "Oh, right." In her mind, she thought, I almost forgot about that because of Rena Song. Out loud, she asked, how the hell did this happen? One of her classmates replied, we tried a few other phones. It looks like the signal is blocked outside the school. Yuri Ma slammed her hands on the table. How can the phones not be working? Another classmate tried to calm her down, but Yuri snapped, this is not the time to calm down. Mi-hui Yang tried to reassure her. Don't worry, Karen will fix this. There has to be a way. Rena interrupted, laughing mockingly. Don't make me laugh. She turned to Karen. So, what's your big plan? You claim you came from the future? Do you actually believe that nonsense? Se-eun stepped in, saying, you saw the zombies, and the announcement matched exactly what happened. Rena cut her off. How do you know it wasn't all stage? Mi-hui, glaring at Rena, shouted, stop picking on Karen. Rena glared back at her, unfazed. Yuri raised her hand. I don't believe it either. Why should we trust her at a time like this? Turning to Karen, Yuri continued, think about how you've acted around us. You keep a wall between yourself and everyone else. You never join class activities, always acting like the victim. But when it comes to Jiha, your eyes practically pop out of your head. Are you using us as bait to save him? Her words left the class in silence. Some students started to doubt Karen, thinking Yuri might have a point. Breaking the tension, Karen asked calmly, if I told you I'd given up on Jiha, what would you say? She paused, then added, something unthinkable happened. I had no choice but to let him go. Don't bring him up again. The room went silent once more until Yuri scoffed, breaking the stillness. Why do you have to make things so awkward? She turned away from Karen. So, when are we getting out of here? As Yuri turned, Karen briefly saw a faint figure in her place. It was unclear and vanished quickly, leaving only shadows in her vision. Karen thought to herself, of course, I wouldn't be able to see Yuri Ma, that troublemaker. Jinseon Yeom, student number 6, spoke up. What are our options? Locking the doors and closing the windows won't stop them. They could break in here easily. Karen thought, Jinseon Yeom is sharp. She has the best grades in class. She nodded to Jinseon. You're right, I have a plan. There's a bag by my seat. Can you bring it here? Jinseon did as she was told but dropped the bag because of its weight. Weapons spilled onto the floor. Shocked, Jinseon exclaimed, oh my god. What is this? Why do you have these? I almost got hurt. Smiling, Karen replied, there's more where that came from. Everyone, pick something you like. Her classmates were stunned by her words. Karen walked to the blackboard and wrote down some rules. If we follow these rules, we'll be the zombie resistance class. Turning to face her classmates, Karen said, like Rena said, each of us is weak on our own. She might be right about freeloaders, but does that mean we should all die? No, everyone here has a special skill. If we work together and assign the right roles, we'll survive. Karen announced, I've grouped everyone. Combat Team, Rena Song, Yuri Ma, Jinwei Choi, Jaehyun Young. Yeri Pyeon Supplies Team. Seonyang Kim. Shinbi Yun. Jinseon Yeom. Seunham Reconnaissance Team. Cherim Han. Hannah Du. Sonwoo Han. Seyong Jin. Mihui Young Karen explained each team's responsibilities. The main mission of the reconnaissance unit is to gather information. Use cell phones, communication devices, and drawings. Your goal is to map the school and locate zombies. What's the supplies team's job? Karen replied, you'll make what we need and manage our food. Shinbi. Can you take the items in Seonyang's locker and make them useful? If you can upgrade anything I brought, that'd be even better. Shinbi hesitated. Me? Karen smiled. Yes, Shinbi. Everyone knows you're good with your hands. Remember the voodoo doll you made of me this year? For the first time, Karen saw Shinbi clearly, not as a shadowy figure, but as her real self. At the start of the semester, a strange incident happened to Karen. She found a voodoo doll in her desk drawer. Even though she already knew about it from the novel, it still scared her. It was creepy. She tossed the doll in the trash can. But the next day, another voodoo doll appeared. Then another. This happened every day for a week. Frustrated, Karen decided to figure out who was behind it. Eventually, she tracked down the culprit, Shinbi Yun. However, her classmates didn't believe her. They thought Karen was making things up for attention, especially from Jiha. Experiencing the event firsthand was far worse than what Karen had read in the novel. She felt suffocated and furious. At that moment, she promised herself she'd get revenge. But now, facing Shinbi, Karen sighed and said, forget it. There's no use crying over spilled milk. What matters is how much you can contribute now. Shinbi thanked Karen. Karen thought to herself, she's just grateful I'm forgiving her. I guess? She glanced at Shinbi and noticed she didn't have a bracelet either. That meant Shinbi probably wasn't the unknown extra she was looking for. Hannah Du spoke up. What you're saying isn't wrong, but I have a question. How did you figure out everyone's strengths to make these teams? You've never hung out with any of us. Karen replied calmly, I've been observing all of you carefully. This was a lie. The truth was, she only knew their strengths because of the novel. She continued, as the class president, you're someone who knows everyone and is compassionate. If I didn't have prior knowledge about this situation, you would have been the leader. Aren't you getting updates about students from other classes on your phone? That information will help us find the safest way out. Seonyang Kim nodded. I'm on board, she said. I'm not sure if there's anything useful in my locker, but if it helps, feel free to take what you want. Karen thought for a moment. I was wondering why I could finally see their faces clearly. Now I get it. I recognize them as part of my story, and when they open up to me, they stop being extras. I guess that means they're no longer just side characters. Anyway, I hope we can work together from now on. She smiled faintly, realizing she could finally see Hannah Du and Seonyang Kim. Karen was surprised at how tiny Seonyang looked in person. Yuri interrupted her thoughts. Wait, why are we going to the school shop first? Why don't we just leave the school? Karen replied, it's not that simple. Getting out could take us several days. Several days? Yuri exclaimed. You've got to be kidding me. I'm out of here. She stormed to the window, planning to jump out. Karen grabbed her arm. Yuri, wait, we're on the 3rd floor. Yuri froze as she looked outside. A student was running on the ground below, and then zombies caught up to him. They surrounded him and tore him apart. See what I mean? Karen said, her voice firm. Damn it, Yuri muttered, stepping back from the window. They're out there too? This is insane. She moved toward the door instead, trying to open it. One of their classmates blocked her path. Stay here for now, they pleaded. But then, chaos erupted. Zombies broke through the door, and one of the students was grabbed. Shut the door, Karen yelled. It was too late. Several zombies had already entered the classroom. Rina Song didn't hesitate. She fought the zombies with her bare hands, punching and shoving them back. Spotting a baseball bat nearby, she grabbed it. I'm borrowing this, Rena said, gripping the bat tightly as she prepared to fight. Karen thought to herself, is Rena really going to leave? Just like that? Rena turned around briefly and said with a casual tone, right. Take care, everyone. Karen clenched her fists in annoyance, thinking, take care? What does she think this is? Maybe my ass. Rena turned back to the class, her tone sharp and unforgiving. Look at you all, screaming, crying, doing nothing useful. It's pathetic. Combat squad? Don't make me laugh. I'm not doing this nonsense. She strode to the blackboard and wiped away the plan Karen had carefully written. Facing the group, Rena added, if you want me on your team, then give me a reason. Entice me somehow. I'm not going to risk my life for any of you. She headed toward the door, glancing at Se-eun. Open it. Karen, desperate to stop her, called out, do you believe in miracles? Rena stopped briefly and replied coldly, miracles? They don't exist. Karen remembered what the unknown extra had once told her. Who knows? A miracle could happen. She smiled faintly, masking her frustration, and said, okay then, leave. Go ahead. Rena didn't hesitate, walking out of the classroom. Karen stayed still for a moment, her emotions swirling. She picked up a cutter from a nearby desk and thought about how Rena had roughly grabbed her hair earlier. With a determined expression, she sliced off her hair. Watching it fall to the ground, she muttered, gross. Suddenly, Shinbi Yun cried out, oh my god. She's gone. Yuri's gone. Yuri had indeed left. She was now racing down the stairs, her footsteps echoing in the quiet building. Her heart pounded as she reached the first floor. She paused briefly to check her phone, hoping against hope for a signal. But there was none. Feeling both relief and dread, Yuri realized she was close to the first floor. However, her relief turned to horror as she spotted a swarm of zombies near the stairs. Panicking, she sent a quick message to Shinbi. Don't come to the first floor. Thinking fast, Yuri turned on her phone's music and threw it far away. The loud sound drew the zombies' attention, giving her a chance to sneak past them. Back in the classroom, Shinbi saw Yuri's message and burst into tears. Karen quickly covered Shinbi's mouth, whispering, "Shush, don't let them hear us." Outside the classroom, faint growls of zombies could be heard. On the first floor where Yuri is, her phone lying on the floor is shown, and flames can also be seen in that area. As Karen held Shinbi, a memory flashed in her mind. She recalled seeing Yuri just before she left and thought, but she didn't look like her, did she? She shook off the thought and assessed their situation. Now that Rena and Yuri are gone, we've lost our strongest fighters. We need to replenish the combat squad. That means the third strongest person will become critical. In a corner of the classroom, Jinwei Choi sat with his head down. His voice was low and defeated. We're screwed. I'm useless. We're all going to die here. I feel so down. Hannah Du walked over, trying to encourage him. What are you saying, Jinwei? You've won kendo competitions before. If anyone can help us, it's you. Jinwei shook his head, sighing. But I don't have my sword here. I can't do anything without it. Hannah grabbed a wooden stick and handed it to him. Here, try using this. Jinwei frowned and pushed it away. No, it doesn't feel right. It's not a sword. I don't feel motivated. Karen and Hannah exchanged frustrated looks. Finally, Karen said firmly, I'll get you a sword. I saw something that looks like one in the principal's office. Do you think that will work? Se-eun gasped. The principal's office? But it's on the 5th floor. Can you really make it there? Karen replied calmly, I have to. If I do this, maybe you'll all start to trust me. Mihui suddenly stepped forward, determination in her eyes. I'm coming with you, Karen. Karen thought, good, it's better than going alone. Then another voice spoke up. I'm coming too. Karen turned and saw Cherim Han standing confidently. She thought to herself, that's lucky. I figured she'd volunteer based on her personality. Sharam's face became clearer to Karen.